I heard you want to be unstoppable. But every time you stand in front of the audience, your legs shake. You feel the butterflies in your stomach, and you have a knot in your throat. Let me tell you a secret. If I were to ask you to stand up, loose your arms, and take a deep breath, you will do it. Because this is the first secret you need to know about public speaking. When you present, there is a tacit agreement between the audience and the speaker, where the audience will listen to you, at least for a while, and follow your instructions, providing you show expertise. But how do we show expertise? Have you ever heard about first impression matter? Yes, of course. You know first impression matter. I know first impression matter. We all know that first impression matter. But do you know how long it takes to create a first impression? 5 seconds? 3 seconds? 1 second? A split of a second. What makes things worse, once that first impression is made, it's very difficult to change or challenge. Do you understand the implications of this? Do you? If you are a good-looking person, everything is easy for you. People will like to listen to you. For those of us who are average, despair not. There are a couple of things we can do to influence that first impression. In events like this one, where we have full marketing program, we can put our bio out there. PhD, done. MBA, done. OBE, done. But what happens if we don't have anything like that? You can always say that you are a public speaker. At the end of the day, you are speaking in public. Second technique you can use, this is very powerful and is underused. When you give a presentation, make sure that you have somebody to present you. And even better, get your presentation in black and white and hand it over to the presenter. If I say that I'm a good-looking public speaker, some of you might agree. Some others you say, no way. But if somebody else says that I'm a good-looking speaker, wow, things change. That person might be right. And this is very important at work. Imagine that you have to present a big project. Get somebody to present you. And the next person speaking is Julian. He has worked in this project for 200 hours. He has spoken with 200 stakeholders, and he can save £200 million in 2 months. Wow. Now the pressure is on you. Third technique you can use to influence that first impression is dress to impress. And not only use your clothes to cause a good impression, but to build your message and your presentation. Imagine that you are talking about health and safety. Why don't you wear a high visibility vest? Imagine that you are talking about dry scientific things they do, the scientists. Bring your lab coat. Imagine that you are talking about geopolitical affairs. Bring your military uniform. And so far, we have built the audience to cause a good impression. And we have not even opened our mouth. Be careful here now. When you start your presentations, please avoid this common pitfall. It seems we have an IT problem. Boom! You have killed your credibility in no time. Now, I said before that building a good first impression will give you credit for a few moments. The audience will listen to you, but it doesn't guarantee you that they will listen for the whole length of the talk. So, how can we engage with the audience? Bear in mind that attention spans are short, very short, extremely short. In fact, Microsoft found in a study that the average human attention span is 8 seconds. And that was the time before Twitter or TikTok. Now, average attention spans are shorter, much shorter. So, how do we get the audience engaged? Especially when we speak online, on camera, or on stage. Here, some presenters use body language to attract the attention of the audience. But I prefer to use the old technique of telling stories. Because there was a time, not so long ago, where there was not internet. And before that, there were not even books. And do you know how the knowledge was passed from generation to generation? By oral tradition. Our brains are wired and warm to stories. When we listen a story, we pay attention. We want to know what is next. And we tend to remember stories best. From a scientific point of view, if we put one of those scanners in our head, when we listen a story, we see how different parts of our brain light up, get active, parts that are not related to our listening skills. That makes us think that when we listen stories, we are reliving what we are hearing. That makes us think that we feel sympathy and empathy for the protagonist of the story. So don't be afraid, tell stories. Having said that, I realize that I have not told any story yet. So let me fly you back to Beijing 2008 Olympic Games. In the Olympic swimming pool, Michael Phelps is about to take part in the 200 meters butterfly style final. He has won already 9 gold medals. Today, he can become the most laureate modern Olympian. So, ready, steady, go. 8 swimmers jump into the swimming pool. By the end of the first lap, Michael Phelps is the second. By the end of the second lap, Michael Phelps feels water coming into his goggles. By the end of the third lap, he's completely blind. He cannot see anything. He doesn't know where he is nor where his rivals are. By the end of the fourth lap, the crowd goes wild. He has won the gold medal. He has broken the world record and he has become the most lateral Olympian in all times. What not many people know at that time is that he has been practicing to that occasion. On the build-up to the Olympic Games, his trainer has even switched the lights on the swimming pool where he trains. So he knows that every lap is 21 strokes. He knows where to breathe and when to turn. And now let me bring you back to the present and how we can use this technique for our presentations. This last point is probably the most important one. When you present public, make sure that you practice. Practice in front of the mirror, practice in front of the camera, practice in front of the audience. Make sure that you practice. Shall I repeat it? Practice. Rinse and repeat. When you practice, you become more confident on stage. When you practice, you become more comfortable on stage. When you practice, you become more natural on stage. The best speakers tend to practice a lot. Winston Churchill is believed to even have practiced his off-the-cuff remarks. When you practice, those legs that they were shaky become strong. You tame your butterflies and the knot on your throat, loosen it up. Remember, if you want to become unstoppable when speaking in public, there is a tacit agreement between the audience and the speaker, where the audience will listen as long as the speaker shows expertise. By giving a good first impression, telling stories, and practicing, you will build that expertise. It's been an honor to be with you. It's been a privilege to be with you. If you think these presentations deserves an applause, you can do it.